No.
Or do you want to at least finish this video?
I want to finish this video.
Yeah. We can explore here. And we've been up here. We did come up here a little bit earlier. Cody gave us a tour, kind of shared with us some of the history. And one of the things he was saying, this is kind of cool too, is the furniture people. And they would come and say, hey, we're gonna build you a mattress. This is what they would mattress if they were gonna build your furniture. But this is the model that they would show you. Almost looks like a doll bed.
Well, hold on, I'm out of breath. Oh my God.
Going upstairs.
Yeah. Well, your mattress, they could very easily build. It was made of hay and whatever they could find.
Isn't this one made of hay?
I was looking. I don't think they put anything in it.
Okay.
You said you stopped.
Like, we're so spoiled now.
I know. These elaborate mattress companies. And kids used to sleep in this like a coffin. You know what I mean?
It's bad, so we don't have anything to get rid of them.
What about the ghost?
Some lady.
That scared me when I first came in here.
That's Julie right there. I don't know if she haunts this place.
I think her voice has been heard on EVPs. How many of you guys have heard of the Witch of Pungo? Because this is a huge story about the Fairy Plantation House. It involved Grace White Sherwood, and she was believed to be a witch because she was an herbalist and she made natural medicine for people in town. Her crops did very well. She was very good with animals and just very good with things that a female in her time should not be good with. It's things that maybe you would teach your son, but her father taught her. And she grew up in that environment, and therefore she owned a very... What was that? Omar? Omar. What's that?
What?
Do you have something on?
No, it's recording.
I just heard a little kid going, jingle bell, jingle bell.
I didn't hear anything.
You hear me talking about Grace, right?
No,
You guys heard that.
I didn't hear. I swear, I think I've been recording up here.
You didn't hear that.
What are you talking about?
It was like, jingle bell. And then like a couple seconds later, it started singing again. And it wasn't that.
Maybe it's like they got Christmas ornaments and stuff here, maybe something like that.
There's a lot of disembodied voices in this place, and Cody was telling me that he's heard quite a few of them, so I'm wondering, did I just hear something? Wow, I'm going to go back to telling you guys a little bit about Grace. So she was accused by people in town because their crops were doing very poorly and hers were doing very well. So obviously something was up. She had to be a witch, right? Well, back in that time, apparently she was. She was the very first witch tried and convicted in the state of Virginia. They tried something called witch ducking, and witch ducking was when you put a witch into water, and if she were to float, she'd be a witch. If she were to drown, then God was taking her. Obviously, she's going to drown. She's tied to a freaking chair. Because she grew up as a farmer's daughter, she knew what she was doing, and she untied herself and got herself free. Now, for 7 years after this, she had to live in complete solitude, just because they wanted to forget about her. They didn't want her around. She managed to survive, and she did die at around 80 years old, which is quite old for somebody in that time period. And there's many stories about Grace White Sherwood, but what I feel deep down inside, and Cody confirmed this, is she was not truly a witch. And I knew that, but all of the stories that circulate, including the stories from this book, are not true. And poor Grace White Sherwood had to live out her days pretty much by herself because, in a way, society did shun her. They didn't want to be associated to her. Now, earlier in the tour, Cody was telling us about a lady named Isabella. Isabella? She's one of the resident ghosts. And as he was talking about her, I got a flash of a lady wearing a blue dress standing outside of a window. And I did ask him, what was her favorite color? What did she wear? And he didn't know. Obviously, like, how is he supposed to know? But then we come into this death room or the wake room, and he shows me a picture that somebody took right in front of this window, and they believe that they caught Isabella in a blue dress. In this photo, she's actually pregnant, and straight out this window was a path that she would wait for her husband to come home from the war. She was told that her husband was dead, but she sat outside this window and hoped that they were wrong, and she would just wait and wait and wait. I just thought that was, I wanted to share that with you guys because that was crazy. And even Cody was like, yeah, I kind of thought that was a little weird that you were asking what her favorite color was. Is it Isabella or Isabel? Gosh, I gotta ask. Jeez, I probably just screwed up that name. Sorry. Buying the Book of Pongo so I can read all the witch tales about Grace Sherwood. Pongo. And I'm so stoked to listen back to the footage where I heard a little girl singing. It's always just so exciting when you hear things and you pick things up on your audio and your camera, or you're doing EVPs. It's freaking awesome. I get so stoked on it. What was the EVP that you heard upstairs, if you don't mind sharing it with everyone?
Oh, in the nanny room.
Yeah, in the nanny's room.
It was, when I said I don't want nobody in my room, I don't want nobody in my room.
That's crazy. That's a really long EVP.
My team got, come on child, take your medicine.
Wow, in her voice, and it sounded just like her.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. That's
well,
really cool. Yeah. Well, it was her room too, and they did have that southern accent. Yeah, so that little girl that I heard earlier singing, Cody did say there is something in here that could be making that noise or singing or playing music, but it's unplugged, so I don't think it was that. So not only was this the wake room or the death room, this was their living room, and they spent a lot of their time in here. You know, they would set up their Christmas tree, play games, hang out with their family. But this is by far the room with the most activity. I'm not surprised. It's called the wake room or the death room.
Where we're at right now is where dead bodies, most of them being dead bodies, were laid for several days to make sure they were dead bodies. Could you imagine, like, you have your loved one's dead body down here and you're just waiting to hear a bell ring?
Well, even in these photos right here, this is one of the resident ghosts. Her name is Bessie, and she was about 5 years old when she died of yellow fever. And even in this photo, this is a post-mortem photo, so she's actually not alive in this photo, but it looks like she is. It's so weird.
Most active room in the Fairy Plantation house. Let's find out why. So how many people were confirmed alive in this room?
5. It is at 5.
So you know what's crazy is Bessie probably laid right here for a few days.
Yeah.
They laid him down. They weren't in a coffin. Now they would do funerals back in the day too at the houses.
They were just laid on a table.
On a table, yeah. Are you here with us, Bessie? Really?
What did that just say? Bessie, did I hear you singing earlier? Was that you? That's a little girl's voice. Yeah. That could have been Bessie. Oh my gosh.
Who else is here with us? Is Cora here with us?
Is Stella here with us? There's a few of you speaking at once. Can you come forward one at a time for us?
What was Cora and Stella's husband's name?
Charles.
Charles. Is Charles here with us?
Did Charles like Cora or Stella more?
Ooh. Charles, who'd you like better? Say done. Who are these apparitions that we see behind us?
This is believed to be Bessie right here. Little girl in the photo. You can tell it's a little girl.
Why is this room the most haunted?
I heard death again.
I heard death too, or dead. I have a good question. How many that were in this room that got buried alive?
Earlier we asked that too, and it said 5.
4. 4? Like how many were buried alive?
Are you guys happy here? You like this house, right? Somebody said Papa. Safe. Do you guys feel safe here? Is that why you stay?
There's a lot coming through.
And then it said free. And it said freed. He was freed. He was a slave.
Finally free. So we're happy that you're free now, Henry. Alright, we don't want to disturb you anymore. Thank you so much for speaking with us. Alright, we're saying goodbye. You guys do not follow us back home, okay? You stay here. Okay. Bye.
Thank you guys.
Could have sworn I heard have a good day.
I think they were saying bye to us.
That was pretty interesting.
Yeah, and hearing Henry and then the word freed, he was freed right after the Civil War. So
That's why it's nice when you're doing spirit box communication to have more than one person kind of breaking down what's coming through, because you really can't tell what's coming through until you hear it a few times. So if you have a couple fresh ears listening to it, then more likely right then and there you can kind of like, hey, that said that.
Right.
You get to,
So this is the hanging tree. And guys, I wish I could find those photos, but I did take a bunch of photos when I was here, and there were these weird white light anomalies going across some of the branches. Does that sound familiar?
Oh, yeah.
People have caught things by taking pictures over here.
Treatment struck my life 3 times since 1960.
And you were telling me that it's completely hollow, so it should be dead.
Dude, all these leaves are...
Oh my God.
The ones that fell off the tree this fall.
where would they actually hang the people from that, right?
That big thick one.
Wow.
You get a ladder up there and there's still striations.
I think I can actually see the lines on the tree.
Yeah, it's a little easier now that the leaves are gone.
What? Yeah, you guys can't really see the lines, but they are there, trust me.
I'm telling you, the leaves on this tree are about this big, and they're lime green.
It looks like there's something holding this tree down. This tree should be
It
dead.
really looks like an arm